Go bola. Ref!
I really can't help but feel the goalkeepers made the most of the lack of nets there. Why hello there everyone and welcome to yet another installment of FTW, and I am back on intro duties after the disgraceful claims of last episode.
You still have a below average penis.
I swear down, just leave me alone. And shockingly, we are back once again for the series that brings you the best and more frequently the worst of what football has to offer online during the course of a week. Yet we're still somehow managing to fraud this series. I can't lie, we were on the ropes until, Jack here decided he was a little bit bored, but we'll come on to him later. Honestly, the world is still kind of ending. 2020 has been a little hazardous. The man who's meant to lead us through the coronavirus, in fact, came down with coronavirus.
Many more families are going to lose loved ones.
Britney Spears announced that she could run 100 meters in 5 seconds. Nah, I'm sorry, this is taking the biscuit. This is the worst thing yet.
Away first time, good start from Patrick.
To put that into perspective, Usain Bolt's fastest time was like 9.59 seconds. And she reckons she's twice as fast as Usain Bolt.
The world record's gone!
I'm pretty sure that would make Britney Spears the fastest known land mammal available. But over in Belarus, life goes on. Football is still happening. The president has refused to cancel any event, sport or otherwise, and reckons that vodka and saunas are gonna beat the virus. Jesus Lord, don't inform Fiat 500 Twitter of that. They'll be all over it. I sincerely hope they're not planning on drinking throughout the matches, however. You're gonna be left with all the footballing abilities of Andreas Pereira. To be fair, I've tried drunken football as well, and it really makes it very difficult to properly drive towards defenders. Do you know what I mean? Having said that, I really shouldn't have been behind the wheel of a moving vehicle under the influence, so maybe that was the reason why. Probably wouldn't recommend to anybody else. And speaking of drunken driving, on to Jack Grealish.
To help save lives, you must stay at home. Only leave your house to buy food, to buy medicine, or to exercise, and always remember to stay at least 2 meters apart. This is urgent. Protect the NHS. Stay home. Save lives. Hi everybody, I just want to do a quick video message just to say how deeply embarrassed I am.
So first of all, for the gravity of the situation, Jack wasn't exactly conveying that element of urgency he needed with this message.
This is urgent.
Secondly, for goodness sake man, come on. I don't think you even lasted half an hour, and that would usually be a good thing. So for those that don't know or understand the story, Jack Grealish put up a Twitter video a couple of days ago explaining that everyone should stay home in self-isolation and social distance, etc. etc. And then about 2 days later decided to go to a party and then attempt to drive back drunk in his Range Rover at 4 AM and then crashed it into a load of parked cars before going missing and abandoning his car. So all in all, a pretty solid Saturday night out. And with the current strain on the police force in going out and making sure people aren't congregating together, and on the NHS generally speaking, it is probably the stupidest thing he could have done. In fairness, the chain of events are very, very easy to piece together. First of all, Jack posts the warning. Secondly, Jack then likes a tweet about being unable to stay in lockdown till the month of June and not being able to hack it. And third of all, goes out of lockdown because he can't hack it. It's just a ridiculous reason to be out of quarantine as well. Wanting to go to the park and get some fresh air. Wanting to see the odd friend at their house. Going out till 4 AM, then playing Skittles with your 4x4 whilst absolutely bumper-clarted. They're all pretty much the same thing. It's easy to see how he got in such a state seeing him on the way to the party. If only he'd listened to the advice he gave himself before. I feel so sorry for his agent, man. He's got to pull a miracle out of his buttock cheeks every 6 months to save this kid. And Manchester United have even announced interest in him since the incident. To be fair, they're a big fan of car crash signings, so I guess it makes sense. We've actually been here before with Jack Grealish. We obviously had the balloons incident a few years ago, then him being passed out on the street after a night out. Now he's crashed his car in quarantine. If this was Raheem Sterling, he'd have been sent down for 14 years in prison by now. Obviously, something needs to be looked at here. Jack Grealish is the captain of a football club, and this behaviour is not acceptable. But on a level, maybe he needs some people around him, some better people around him, to explain what he should and shouldn't be doing. It's no defence at all. What he's doing is ridiculous, and he should be punished for it. But I do understand that it can be very difficult for people to go from doing something all the time to actually having nothing to do. This guy plays plays football for a career and probably doesn't do all that much outside of it, and now everyone's in isolation, he's sat at home doing absolutely nothing. If he is a fan of a drink, then this is probably going to accentuate the issue. Anyway, moral of the story, isolation is better for everyone. Or maybe not. Gardens are a theme today. First of all, there's this Mazzolini of a bin shot. Work is definitely needed on the celebration though. We've got garden-to-garden football tennis, or tennis football. I don't really know what that sport would be called. It depends on what your preference is. Just pass me the ball, big man. Nah, this is actually Alex Iwobi in the final third. Listen, I'll take Alex Iwobi if this is what we're being dealt with now. Now, there's some big news as far as the Premier League's completion is concerned this week. The FA are thinking about plans to play all games behind closed doors around about the start of June. Quarantine everybody separately, as if they're like World Cup camps that you get in the summer. So there's no transferring of the coronavirus between players or to the outside world. Play all the games behind closed doors, but then televise absolutely all of them, so 92. And then end the season when it's all done. Basically have like some very intense Super League across the course of 1 month. This is all well and good, but there's a slight issue when it comes to injuries and hospitals, for example. Now, Nathaniel, listen, I understand you've completely obliterated your ACL, MCL, and somehow this random muscle in your shoulder at the same time. And I know you've also been waiting 4 days for a bed, but at least you don't have corona. In fairness, there's barely any other options at this point. I think it's going to end up happening. I guess you could just coin toss for the rest of the season. All right, if this lands on heads, Liverpool are given the league. Okay, alright, sorry, so we'll just exclude that option. We could just spin a wheel, and then whoever it lands on wins the league. Though then West Ham have got quite the advantage. Mikel Antonio's really good at spinning wheels, so... You know what, lads? I've seen the light. A last man standing competition. Alright, so here we are. The first annual, and definitely not going to continue annually, footballing Hunger Games. It's an extremely unique idea. I realise that. I am just a trailblazer in my craft. We've got all the Premier League teams here. You can forget about the districts, they don't really matter. But obviously I did have to fill out 24, and there's only 20 Premier League teams. So at first we've gone pretty standard with Leeds and West Brom. Then we go with Alfreton Town in District 12. If you know, then you know. And then Liverpool under 21s. Listen, I was really scraping the barrel at this point. So the first round, nobody's doing anything. Everyone's just running away. There is a casualty though. We've lost Leicester. Crystal Palace kill Alfreton Town while they're resting. Alfreton Town of like the Southern Premier Division, even though they're a Northern team. That doesn't make sense. Alfreton Town of the Northern Premier Division aren't going to win the Premier League. And I'm quite honestly just baffled. Liverpool have snapped Norwich's neck. You're probably looking at a straight red there. Watford discovers a river. It's called the Thames, lads. You're not based too far away from it. Wolves catch Everton off guard and kill them. Leeds attempt to poison Manchester United, but then accidentally drink the poison drink. Aston Villa cry themselves to sleep. I'm sure fans are very used to that sort of situation. Bournemouth have killed off Arsenal. Burnley have ended Crystal Palace. Tottenham have died of an infection. And Brighton have accidentally poisoned themselves after attempting to poison Villa. Bear monkeys have entered the arena for whatever reason. Burnley fall over and take Liverpool under 21s with them. Bournemouth are gone after Man City injure them. Liverpool are killed off. Brighton go with them. So we've lost Arsenal, Palace, Tottenham, Villa, Burnley, Liverpool under 21s, Liverpool over 21s, Bournemouth, Brighton and Chelsea, which leaves us with just 6 teams left to go. It's gonna be an intense battle full of drama, and West Ham go to sleep. Yeah, okay, good. Watford stab up Manchester City. West Ham kill off West Brom as they try to run away, and Watford die of an infection, which now leaves us on day 5 with just West Ham, Manchester United and Wolves left. Oh, Manchester United have won. Nah, listen, lads. Yeah, it was a good idea, yeah, but we're cancelling this and we're never running it again. But do you want an escape from how terrible life is right now? Well, why don't we take a look back down memory lane with FTW Rewind, taking a look at what was happening this week, many many, many years ago. So on this day 3 years ago, a statue of Cristiano Ronaldo that looked more like a jacket potato was unveiled. Gary Neville was sacked as Valencia manager just 4 months after taking charge. Should probably just stick to pressing random screens on Monday Night Football, really. Back in 2002, Rangers tricked their entire fan base into thinking they'd signed a Turkish wonder kid by the name of Yardis Alpolfo. Turns out it was just an anagram for April Fools. Retrospective shithousery award. And finally, on this day, just a year ago, there was no flipping coronavirus. Somebody let me out of my house, man. Back to the present day, and letting off flares for winning the Champions League with a team on Football Manager is what we've come to, and to be honest, I love it. Eden Hazard has become indescribably bold. Ainsley Maitland-Niles tried the same and it didn't really work out. There's apparently a leak for Manchester United's away kit next season, and honestly, it looks like someone's remixed the zebra. Over in Ireland, James McLean's got some very interesting tactics for schooling his children. It's a very political shithousery award this week. And finally, Norwich defender Tim Closer has his own way of dealing with self-isolation. Now though, it is time for Still 0-0, and you guys know the score by now. This is a segment of the show where we talk about the best and worst of Sunday League football during the course of the last 7 days. And I'll be brutally honest with you lads, the integrity of this segment is gone. I have no idea whether this clip is from this week. It most likely isn't, but it's getting dashed in anyway. And it's a penalty that's gonna get converted, and usually it would seem like a pretty normal instance. Until you see the way the fans start celebrating the goal. I guess you could say the atmosphere's really popping off. Do you get me? Because guns and popping and that. Over in France, a news TV station accidentally showed the Iranian lookalike for Lionel Messi instead of his Argentinian counterpart in a news story. And Maxi Rodriguez admitted to tricking Rafa Benitez into the fact that he could speak English when he first arrived at Liverpool. Rafa asked him whether he was fluent in the language, and because Maxi really wanted to join, he just said yes, though in his native Spanish language. That probably should have been a bad sign from the get-go. That though is going to wrap up football this week, and I hope you have enjoyed it. Once again, we're kind of making the most of difficult situations here. Let me know what you want to see on the channel if things do get really tough and I can't carry on this series for now. But if you enjoyed this video, then slap a like on it and subscribe if you're new to the channel. You can also follow me on social media. It is at @theofficialfng on Twitter and on Insta. But it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.